Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tower of God New World. In today's video, we are going to check out the updated tier list. So you guys might be wondering, why are you on Pride Win? What happened to your custom tier list? So I decided to pretty much go off of the Pride Win tier list as of to right now, and the reason why is because the Pride Win tier list is a lot better. Like, the main reason why I made my own custom tier list is because the Pride Win tier list, a couple months back wasn't really that great. But, thanks to another content creator, his name is Conan. If you guys don't know who he is, I'm going to put the link to his channel in the comment section down below. Highly recommend you guys to check out his content. But thanks to him, the tier list is looking a lot better. They have categories, they have, Rev 3, they have Rev 6. Really, really good. So we're definitely going to go off of the Pride Win tier list as of to right now because it is a lot better. And, they pretty much include how many copies you need on each unit in order for the unit to belong in that specific tier. So overall, the tier list is just a lot better. So we're going to go off of the Pride Win tier list, but every single time a new character releases, I'm going to put the new character in their own respective tier in my custom tier list. So we're pretty much going to talk about the characters in the Pride Win tier list, and then Khun Asensio and Reflejo, we're going to put them in their own respective tier based off of my opinion. So when we take a look at the Pride Win tier list, so we pretty much have Rev 3, Adventure, and we have Rev 6. So if you guys don't know what Rev 3 and Rev 6 is, it's pretty much the Revolution system. For Rev 3, you pretty much have like, additional stat boosts. And then for Rev 6, you get like, Revolution tier 4 and 5 when you're pretty much amplifying that unit's kit. So, for Rev 3, I agree with all the things I see here. I will say for Data Mashini, uh, she doesn't really need 3 red stars in order for it to be great. I feel like even with 0 copies, she's an amazing stall tank unit. But that's my personal opinion. But I've been using Data Mashini as a stall tank unit for a long time, and she is still great. The fact that she has that guaranteed invincibility is perfect. So I will say for a Data Mashini, even with 0 copies, she's still an S tier unit. But 3 red stars and above, like, she literally becomes like a DPS character because of her Rev 6. So I do agree that once you reach, Rev 6 for Data Mashini, she's insane, like insanely broken. So other characters we have here is, of course, Yiwa and Joaquin. So you guys know, like, Yiwa and Joaquin, these two were like the most busted DPS SSR units in the game. And it's really sad to see how Yiwa and Joaquin, like they're slowly falling off. Because for Yiwa, I've been saying this for a long time, but Yiwa, she just falls off so hard because the more you progress in adventure mode, the more you're going to fight enemies who are tanky as hell. And it's really hard for Yiwa to eliminate enemies who are constantly activating shields back to back. For example, Flight Eric Masno. This guy right here is a threat in adventure mode, and Yiwa just can't do anything against him. So her biggest weakness is enemies who constantly apply shields. Ghost, Flight Eric Masno. I'll say another unit is like Kurdon, for example, like very tanky characters. Ron May, when Ron May activates that shield in adventure mode, it's GG's, bro. It's like you have to use Blue Road to get rid of her because Ron May is absolutely annoying to deal with. Her shield is tanky as hell. But she really struggles against enemies who constantly apply shields and enemies who are constantly healing allies. So that's one of the main reasons why Yiwa fell off really hard, is because the more you progress, the more it's hard for her to eliminate enemies. But she is still wonderful at the early phase of the game. But the thing is, I do feel like since we are going to have the stage jump feature, she's not going to be that crazy anymore because people only use her for the early phase of the game. And since they're implementing the stage jump feature, like, new players will be able to pretty much reach floor 20, I'll say, in a day or like in a couple hours. So I don't know, man, her value is slowly decreasing over time. So it really sucks to see her value right now compared to when she first got released into the game. When she first dropped, man, dude, this was like the most broken unit in the game. Like, she was so busted. But now it's like, I don't know, man. I don't use her anymore. But next character we have here is Joaquin, and Joaquin, I do feel like for Joaquin, the reason why Joaquin fell off is because his survivability, it's very, very poor if you're trying to build a damage set on him. Like if you're trying to build a Sundance on Joaquin, it's like you have to put magic and physical resistance so that he can stay alive, because he'll teleport across the battlefield and he'll just end up dying immediately. So unfortunately for Joaquin, it's like the fact that his base nodes, like his revolution base nodes, are just terrible for like a DPS character. And on top of that, you have to build magic and physical resistance to keep him alive. Yeah, that just made him fall off a lot more. Now, I will say for Kaseya, now you guys already know, man, I'm a Kaseya glazer, but Kaseya, she's been performing very, very well recently, especially because of Reflejo and that evasion decrease. Like, she's been performing way better than my Joaquin. Like, Joaquin, he would just die in like 5 seconds, but for Kaseya, she would always eliminate, the annoying DPS characters in the back row like Kunadon, Vile, Punisher in. She always does her job, and me personally, I would put Kaseya in S tier, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, for Khun Mashni, a lot of people have been hyping up Khun Mashni, and trust me, I've seen the numbers. I've seen her performance with a lot of investment, and she's insane with max copies and Revolution tier 6. Not Revolution tier 6, but Rev 6. She's dope. She's insanely powerful. Um, like one of the main reasons why I always put her in S tier is because of Vivi. Like if you have Vivi, then Khun Mashni isn't really a requirement, but she is insanely busted though with max copies. So I do agree with this. Like for Rev 3 up to Rev 3, she's still S tier, but for Rev 6, she's S plus tier. Like she's way better than Vivi in terms of damage. She's insane. So Khun Mashni, crazy character. And of course, Hayura's still in that S plus tier. Literally one of the most busted support units in the game alongside with Princess Anak. So overall, this tier list looks pretty solid. It looks pretty good. I don't really disagree with a lot of things here. Like there are some things, like I'll say the only thing I'm close to disagreeing with is Khun Mashni. Like she's still perfectly fine with 0 copies, but other than that, tier list looks absolutely amazing. Now when we come over here to the tier list maker, so let me go ahead and inspect this real quick. Like this is mad annoying. There we go. Whenever those ads pop up, click inspect and they'll go away. But we pretty much have OP tier, S plus tier, S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. Now, the reason why I still have the OP tier is because overpowered pretty much means that, the character is just a cheat code. Like, they're just insanely busted. And in S plus tier, pretty much means that the character is still, insanely busted. But I feel like for overpowered, it's like the character is just game breaking. And I feel like Trauma Ray is going to be in that OP tier since he is like, family head. So that's why I'm keeping that overpowered tier, because Trauma Ray is going to be in a whole different tier. He's going to have his own tier. He's going to be insanely broken. But when we take a look at Reflejo and Khun Asensio, so first character I want to talk about is Reflejo. So Reflejo, this guy, he's not a requirement for purple team, but the thing is he is still an amazing debuffing unit. The fact that he's really tanky, he decreases evasion, he steals the opponent physical and magic resistance, very, very useful. And his revolution tier 4 and 5 is really, really good. Like the fact that I'm pretty sure he steals energy. I have to take a look at it again. But when we come back over here to Reflejo, we can actually find him. We come to purple element category. There he is. So, they didn't include it here. But his exclusive equipment is also really, really good. Like increasing his attack speed, increasing his defense. Before he dies, he unleashes the power of the shadows to deal 500% of his attack as damage to nearby enemies. And he locks them for 4 seconds and decreases their energy by 500. And in level 4, he's changing the evasion decrease of the second basic attack into evasion steal. So he's stealing physical and magic resistance. He's stealing evasion. He's crazy. Like, I feel like for Reflejo, he's definitely going to be a great boss unit for sure. Like I've been using him in Underground Laboratory and he's really, really good. So based off of what I've seen so far, I feel like Reflejo, I'm gonna put Reflejo in that S tier. S plus tier, nah. S plus tier, he's not on, Princess Anak level, Garam level. He's not on Hayura level. but I feel like S tier is a solid tier for him. Even for Revolution tier 4 and 5, he is still S tier. He's a tanky, a debuffer, bruiser type unit. So S tier, very, very good for Reflejo. Now, for Khun Asensio. So Khun Asensio, this guy, really, really good with max copies. But the biggest problem with Khun Asensio is that he just requires so much investment and he's not really free to play friendly. Like if you are a free to play player, Khun Asensio, I would highly advise you guys to not even glance at this unit because he just requires max dupes. Like he needs the Battlestar energy. He needs the Revolution tier 5 in order for him to deal insane damage because his Revolution tier 5 pretty much amplifies his damage a lot more because he's getting that, I think, 200% attack increase. So with Asensio, he just needs so many copies, and without max copies, it's like he would die before he even uses his ultimate. So I will say for Khun Asensio, with max copies, he's like, I will say for max copies, he's sitting around like S plus tier because he is immortal. Like it's hard for him to die. So I will say with max copies, he's S plus tier, but with low dupes, he's sitting around like A tier. Like if I'm being honest, with low dupes, this guy is like A tier. So I feel like the best tier for him, like if we're okay with low dupes, A tier, with a lot of like with max dupes, S plus tier. So if we come back over here to the Pride 1 tier list, I would pretty much put for adventure up to Rev 3, I would put him in A tier. And then for Rev 6, I would put him in that S plus tier category. So on average, I would put him in S tier. Like if we're comparing, like if we're pretty much combining his performance with low copies and max dupes, he's an S tier unit because he's heavy dupe reliant, and without max copies, without that Battlestar energy, it's really hard for him to stay alive for more than 7 seconds. Like as soon as the battle starts, chances of him dying before he pops his ultimate, very likely. So for Khun Asensio, it's like he needs max copies so that he can use his ultimate, so that he'll be able to pretty much be invincible throughout the entirety of the battle. So Khun Asensio is still a solid unit, but he's not a requirement, but he is a nice addition to Yellow Element. So I will say, you know, Reflejo and Khun Asensio, they're both S tier. I will say Reflejo, in my opinion, I feel like Reflejo, he's way more valuable on my account, and he's making purple team a lot more stronger for sure, because Joaquin is falling off a little bit. So I pretty much replaced Joaquin with my Reflejo, and purple team is still going strong. So yeah, with max copies, Asensio is in that S plus tier, and then with low dupes, he's sitting in that A tier. So on average, he is an S tier unit in my opinion. But that's pretty much, you know, how I feel about the two new characters. Overall, am I disappointed that Khun Asensio is not, you know, insanely busted? No, and the reason why I'm not disappointed is because this pretty much gives us the opportunity to save up for Trauma Ray. Like everybody's saving up for him, so therefore, you know, these two characters, they're not really requirements, so you pretty much have the opportunity to save up for the next big unit, which is Trauma Ray. Like he's literally coming, I think next week. He's coming next week, and there's going to be a live stream talking about the next major update. So I do feel like this update was, you know, it's a really good update for free-to-play players in terms of saving up. So take the opportunity, save up your resources, because Trauma Ray is coming soon, and I'm excited for that character. But that's pretty much the updated tier list. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. Once again, if you guys want me to read the Tower of God webtoon, make sure my most recent videos hit 500 likes. Hit that like button, because as soon as I see one of my most recent videos hit 500 likes, I'm gonna get started immediately. So hit the like button, and you're pretty much increasing the chances of me getting started immediately. But hope you guys have a good one, and I'll be catch you guys soon. Peace.